Yo, welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, brother guy, back again. We are doing our preview of One Friday Fights 130, which will be live at Opposed to South African time on the YouTube channel of One Championship. And we also will be doing a live watch along of this fight card. So hope to see you all there. Before I get into the preview, please drop a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Each little click that you guys provide does help the channel grow one step closer towards landmarks. So yeah, let's get it going. Thank you for being able to do that. And yeah, let me get straight into the preview. I will say I'm a little bit slow today. You can probably hear my voice as well. A bit jaded, a little bit tired. Didn't really have the best nights of rest. But yeah, with patience, we'll get through this preview nice and smoothly. But as always, we will start at the top of the card where we see Nontachai back again taking on Soner Sen, who is probably one of the most active fighters in one championship, to be quite honest, without a contract. It's mad. This guy, he's so deserving of a contract. But we just don't, yeah, he just doesn't get it. And when there's times where he goes on a bit of a win streak, and you're like, okay, now is the time for him to get a contract, and then he doesn't, he loses, and you're like, oh shit, now that just ruins his whole fight streak. But still, in my opinion, that much closer to becoming a contacted fighter. I mean, Nontachai has fought on pay-per-view events, he's fought at fight night events. So I think a win over someone like Nontachai does definitely get you that step closer to that contract, right? I mean, if you think about Nontachai's opponents, explains why I'm saying that. So let me give you some numbers, and then I'll go through some X's and O's as to who I think is going to win this fight. So let's get straight into it. Nontachai, 26 years old. Record one championship is 3 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. 1 win by KO. He lost to Abdullah Akayev by first round KO in his last fight. Very unfortunate, but I mean, let's be honest, Akayev is an absolute killer. But before that, he was on a 3 fight win streak. And I will just mention some of those names to give you some context as to why I think beating someone like Nontachai is a big scalp to collect. Um, Before losing to Dayakaev, he beat Ariane Esparza. Right? I know we don't see Ariane Esparza fight that much, but the dude's high level and he's a tank. And also, Esparza technically fights in a weight class above this. He's bigger than the bantamweight guys. He's featherweight, so he's yeah. It's surprising to see that he took this fight, but he won him. He beat him. Then Nontachai beat Dmitry Koftin, who is a mainstay of the Bantamweight Muay Thai division, knocked him out in the second round. And then before that, he beat Alessio Malatesta. So the dude's got some mad names on his resume in one. And that's a lot to consider because Malatesta is another guy who should have been contacted a long time ago for the amount of fights that he's gone through already. Dmitry Koftin as well, considering that he's highly rated. And then Adrian Esparza, who mainly fought on fight night cards. You know what I mean? You don't fight night cards if you're widely considered by the company as a contracted fighter, even though I don't think Adrian Esparza's got the contract, but he would like fights on big cards. And then obviously Dayakaev as well, who recently just got his contract. Soner Sen, 29 years old, record in one championship is 6 wins, 4 losses, 0 no contest. 3 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO, and he lost to Warapun by unanimous decision in his last fight. A little bit of up and down in terms of like, this is why I explained this, right? He's got a number of fights, right? There's 10 fights in the organization so far. Um, that's a lot of fights. It's a lot of fights. And he beat Konklai, knocked him out, right? He lost to Rambolek and Yodputpa. He beat Nontakit. He beat Warapun, then lost to Warapun, and then beat Komawut, and then lost to Warapun again. So the losses that he has are against Rambolek is top 5 bantamweight right now. Yodputpa at the time was top 5. We haven't seen him fight in quite some time. And then obviously losing to Warapun back to twice is also a big thing to consider because Wadapun's also on the rise at the moment. Like he's been tearing it up over the last like say year and a half. He's been just like beating everybody in very very good fashion. So losing to those fighters as well is also nothing to feel shamed about. But at the same time, with so many fights under his belt, like so many fights in the brand against top names, you should have argued that the Golden Kid, the Golden Boy, should have gotten the contract already. But anyway, I'm not going to open that too much. This fight has got that kind of stake here, you know what I mean, in terms of contract on the line. Especially if the fight ends in a good fashion for either guy. I think we can probably see a bonus on the contract come at the end of the fight. Now, who's going to win? Um, Tough to say. Really tough to say. I will say that this fight does kind of suit Soner Sen, because when he fought against Wadapun was a nightmare matchup for him because of the dominant clinch game, right? Wadapun stays in the clinch, and when he stays there, it sucks the life out of you. Soner Sen had no answer for it. But out on the outside, if we're going to stay on the outside range and we're going to utilize long range weapons and we're going to use boxing techniques and footwork and different types of uppercuts and teeps thrown at you, I think that favors Soner Sen. Now, I think Nontachai, if I'm not mistaken, has got the height advantage. Well, just ever so slightly. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have the height advantage. But relatively fights quite tall for his division. I think the style that Nontachai possesses or brings to the game is going to be that much favorable matchup for Soner Sen because it's going to be on the outside. Nontachai is going to get aggressive and try and box from the outside and kind of walk Soner Sen down. But Soner Sen, we know that he has fantastic footwork. He's slick. He does get tired in the later rounds. And I expect Nontachai to sort of put the pressure on him when they get to the later rounds. In the early rounds, I think it's more about Nontachai trying to assert some dominance, but he's going to realize that's actually the round that you're going to have to give up when you're fighting someone like Soner Sen. Soner Sen, Anta Kasim, like those kind of types of style fighters, you kind of have to, without even trying, you're going to have to give up those rounds, the first round, because that's when they're most dangerous. That's when they walk forward the most. That's when they put a lot of pressure on you, and they're in a lot of combinations. That's what Soner Sen gets off. Same with Anta Kasim. You have to kind of give that first round to them. If you try and get them out of there in the first round, you're probably going to walk into something dangerous. You're probably going to get countered to something quite powerful and fast. So I think Nontachai is going to have to be defensive in that first round. Maybe even look to get into the clinch game as early as possible if you can. Maybe suck some of the life out of Soner Sen. Take the stamina away from him a little bit, attack his body. And then in round 2 and round 3, you can start getting into boxing range and start to strike with him because in that point, Soner Sen will be a lot slower than what he normally is in the first round. Tricky fight to pick. Tricky fight to pick because I want to lean towards Nontachai. I really do. But like my first statement, I think it's a bit of a matchup that actually favors Soner Sen just because of our Nontachai fights. Now, if Nontachai goes in there and completely abandons his regular fight style and goes completely clinch game, because if you watch the tape of how Soner Sen has lost before, it's usually when fighters are overwhelming him with pressure, eliminating space so he can't really use that fancy footwork, and back him up the whole time and make him fight on the back foot. Then Soner Sen doesn't really get into his comfortability, and I think Nontachai is a front foot kind of fighter. If you watch his fights against Esparza, against Kofton, he didn't really take a back step. He did the same thing against Dayakaev as well, where he went aggressive and he went at him quite fast, but it also led to his demise in that fight. He does kind of sometimes abandon his defense, but at the same time, Dayakaev is a very sharp counter striker. So that's what I'm trying to say here. Soner Sen is also a sharp striker. I don't know about going on the back foot as much as he's going forward. Because going backwards, you will see him, you will throw uppercuts and cut an angle. This is Soner Sen now. You will throw an uppercut, cut an angle. You will double jab, but as he's double jabbing, you will be going to his left, you will go into his right. To get away from the backwards movement, to eliminate the space that he doesn't, to eliminate that positions where his back is against the rope, right? So Nontachai is going to have to be wary of that because that's sometimes how Soner Sen can get on his bike and stay away from danger. But that's all he can really offer you going backwards. He's not going to be able to go backwards like Akaev and then crack you with a sharp left hook. You know what I mean? And then you're on the ground. Soner Sen's going to go backwards. And like I said, he will throw maybe a 1-2, but it'll be at half speed or it'll be like 50% power because he's mainly going to throw it to distract you so that you can move away from your pressure. So I think Nontachai, when he goes forward, I think clinching is going to be the game instead of looking for a KO punch. Clinching with Soner Sen, because we've seen that's like his weakness. He hates the clinching battles. So I think Nontachai is going to have to utilize that a little bit more. Elbows, knees in the clinch gets the job done. But if he doesn't utilize that game plan and he goes in straight strike with him and land on the outside and get the combinations going, I think that's going to favor Soner Sen big time. So I'm going to go Soner Sen for the win here. He needs it. Both guys kind of need it, but I think Soner Sen has got enough in there to navigate the 3 rounds against Nontachai. I really do think so. Dante doesn't get like smashed in the first round, but it's going to be a tough fight. I say that very lightly. It's going to be a tough fight, bro, because these guys are high level and they both can beat each other in many ways. But I think Soner Sen, his footwork keeps him safe in a lot of his fights. If he doesn't get clinched up, he stays out of danger for the most part. So I think Soner Sen gets to get the job done over 3-round decision here. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Will you pick for this one? I will put together a parlay at the end of the episode, and then I also will reiterate that parlay in the live tomorrow. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you guys think about this main event. I'm sure DSPV will drop us with some hella insight about a lot of this fights in this fight, but which will help the parlay picks as well for tomorrow. Okay. So main event, we have Songchainoi back again, taking on the newcomer of what's his name? Salai Tan Ki Shin. Fucking mad name. 20-year-old, one championship debut fighting out of Myanmar. This is Bantamweight Muay Thai. And yeah, Songchainoi is a dog, guys. Absolute dog. We know this. He only has one loss in the one championship, and that was against Num Surin. Before that, he was on a 9-fight win streak with multiple KOs. So I'll give you some numbers. Now, Songchainoi is 25 years old. Record in one championship is 9 wins, 1 loss, in no contest, 4 wins by KO. Was on a 9-fight win streak before losing to Noam Sarin by unanimous decision. Salai Tan Ki Shin, like I said, 20 years old. Checked him out on Insta, Facebook, looked up on Tapology. Not much that could really go off the young man, but I think it's a good fight for Songchainoi. It feels like it's a little bit of a I won't say layup, but it's like Songchainoi was the guy. He was the guy that won championship, and a lot of the Thai fans were kind of banking on to get the fight against Naraka Yoshinari before he lost to Noam Sarin. Then he lost to Noam Sarin. So now we're here, and I think this fight's kind of like to reignite him, like bring a Songchainoi back into that win column and kind of go, this is still the guy. I mean, he's only 25 years old and he's a tank in that division. He's one of the hardest hitters when it comes to the 115 pounds Muay Thai division at the weight. This guy is just built like a truck. And I think sometimes that fight style, if you think about Kamawut, the kind of ball that he has, sometimes those guys they struggle with taller fighters and they struggle with fighters that have very good footwork and multiple weapons that they can use on you. If you're gonna get into a boxing match with Songchainoi, where we're just gonna get in the pocket and we're gonna throw some strikes, he's gonna beat you all the time because he hits harder, and that's what he loves to do. He thrives off that, right? But the reason why he lost to Noam Sarin and Naraka Yoshinari in the past is because they were able to utilize so many different weapons, different types of footworks to keep Songchainoi guessing, to keep him chasing, keep him missing. That's how they beat him. They beat him because they overwhelmed him with so many things to think about. But when you watch Songchainoi when he was on that 9-fight win streak in one championship, he was knocking people out because they were prepared to meet him in the middle and like get into that fisticuff and strike with him. But then he's just like, I'll take it and I'll just bang, and then there you on the ground. He's prepared to do that. He will blast you with a lot of low kicks because he likes to do that to set up those powerful punches. So I just think we're gonna see a fight here where it's gonna be like Songchainoi he's arrived, he's back again. That's what we're gonna get here. So I expect Songchainoi to win this fight. I don't ever really pick against him anyway. Even against Noam Sarin, I picked Songchainoi to win that fight. And apart from the knockdown that he got in the first round, he put it on Noam Sarin round 2 and round 3. Let's be honest, he got back up from that knockdown and he got super aggressive and almost arguably won the fight back. So he's still the dog. He's still the guy he's ranked number 3 in the division, so number 2. So he's the guy. He's the guy. Right? And I think this fight's just gonna be a reminder to everybody why we shouldn't sleep on Songchainoi and feel like because he lost to Noam Sarin, it's like, oh wow, there you go. You know, the fact that he lost to Noam Sarin kind of shows you the competitive nature of that Bantamweight Muay Thai division right now. It's like, well, I think from number 1 all the way down to number 10 of the unofficial rankings, they all can beat each other. Other than Naraka Yoshinari, I think at the moment Naraka is like, I don't think he's even real, to be honest with you. Something about him just makes me feel like this dude just came out of nowhere and he's fighting in a particular style that I don't think anyone right now in this modern era is gonna get past it. Unless Naraka breaks a leg or some shit, touch wood, that doesn't happen at 173, but he just looks unbeatable at the moment. It's unreal to watch sometimes. But yeah, I got Songchainoi for the win here, and he's just gonna basically take him one step closer to a title fight with whoever is gonna be the champion come November 16th. But for now, I'm gonna keep it moving. Give me your thoughts in the comments. Do you think this is a bit of a layup, or do you think Songchainoi might have a tough time against the Myanmar young fighter in Salai Han Ki Shin? Let me know. I'm gonna keep it moving in the meantime. I haven't been using my gong. Let's keep it moving. I can tell you that I'm still pretty much getting myself awake here. Okay, co-main event we have Chawalit taking on Ivan Bodin. Bodin, I think that's how you pronounce it. Techawalet is 17 years old. His record in one championship is 1 win, 0 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by TKO. He beat Majid Saidali by first round TKO in his last fight. I mean, that was just an absolute stunner. He also, Majid Saidali doesn't really have a lot to offer. He's just a small, juiced up man and just wants to go in there and punch you as hard as he can, but doesn't really do anything else. You know what I mean? And I think that's a bit of a problem, and that's why fighters like Techawalit that's got a very creative fight style. He's elusive. He's young. He's vibrant. He's fast. He was much taller than Majid. Was always going to beat someone. Majid reminds me of Zachariah Al Jamari. Similar vibes. Similar vibes. But anyway, Ivan Bodiant is 28 years old, and this is going to be his one championship debut. This is Bantamweight Muay Thai. Couldn't really find much on the young man, but I did see that he fought at RWS. Uh, Not too sure what his records were under the RWS banner, but I mean, anyone that fights there is obviously high level, right? I mean, RWS is a massive organization in Thailand. So yeah, I always give a lot of credit to fighters that come from RWS and move over to one championship. It's like, yeah, this is someone that's got the stuff. So this is going to be a big test for the Chavalit. One would argue that he's actually the underdog here. I don't know what the odds look like. I can't give you a pick or breakdown really of Ivan because I haven't seen much of the guy. I haven't seen his fight style, so I don't know what he's going to offer. But he's offering experience. He's almost 10 years. He's 11 years older. You know what I mean? Than Techawalit. So he's got a lot of experience here. So there should be a win for Ivan. Really should. But who knows, right? These youngsters today in one championship are just blowing up. Last week we had Fergus Smith that just tore the roof off. You know what I mean? So let's see what happens here. Techawali can still probably get the job done, but I'm not going to give a pick for that one, so I'm going to skip that one. But I do think it's going to be a bit of a great fight because if anything that I saw is true about Techawali, this guy puts on performances. So yeah, let's keep our ears and eyes open for that one. But let me know in the comments what you think. If you've got an opinion, I'd love to hear your thoughts about that one. It might be able to help me with my parlay for Friday. But I'm going to keep it moving to the next one. So let's go. Okay. Up next, we have Lam Nam Kong taking on Chat Mung Kon. Lam Nam Kong, 24 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO. He beat Super Jang by unanimous decision in his last fight. This is also Bantamweight Muay Thai. A lot of Bantamweight Muay Thai fights on this fight card, which is good to see, by the way. Chat Mongkon is also 24 years old. His record in one championship is 0 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He lost to Kun Panoi by second round KO in his last fight. No shame there. Kun Panoi is really good, high level, powerful dude. So I won't take too much from that fight either. But this should be a good fight for him because Lam Nang Kong, again, he's fighting out of Laos. And when I watched these fights in one championship, he never really impressed me that much. I think he's a cool guy. He's got a fun personality about him. I can see that he's a serious dude about the fights that he wants to be part in. But he's on the shorter side of the bantamweights. So it might even do him a favor to leave this division and maybe go down to flyweight instead. Because he's of the shorter guys, and when you think about the bantamweight division, yeah, you know what I mean. Now Bill's your fucking champion. If Lam Nong Kon has got like aspirations and dreams to become the world champion in this division, I don't think he's gonna get it. Just don't think he's gonna get it. So he'll probably do much better in a lower division. I don't want to use the word lower, but I mean a lighter weight division. And also his style. This is why I think it's gonna be a favorable matchup for Chat Mongkun because Lam Nang Kong doesn't really I'm looking. He doesn't attack the basement. You know, he doesn't go there and then try and hit the ribs and hit the sternum and eliminate the stamina or take the legs out. He goes he rushes in and then he just wants to box. Whether it's a body shot or a headshot, he just wants to rush in and box with you. His kicks aren't that devastating. So they're not really gonna hurt you or put you in any discomfort. These kicks are mainly to distract you and set up range or to set up a right hand or sometimes that's what he does. And I've seen fighters at not even that high level, that's still very much new to the game, but because they're able to see this pattern, they find it out very quickly and then they're able to beat him quite easily. And I find that as a problem for Lam Nang Kong, and that's why I was suggesting to go down in size, where go down in weight class, because then he can be a little bit bullish with that fight style, right? Um, Krisana pieced him up pretty easily. Konpanoi also pieced him up pretty easily. Those are his only two losses. Excuse me. And look at that. And those are fighters that have got what? They've got a wide array of weapons to choose from. They know how to fight backwards, or going forward. They know how to feint and pull out boxing heavy kind of fighters and getting caught with a high kick or something like that. So Lam Lang Kong is gonna have to use more weapons in my opinion. But because he's gonna go in there and primarily box, it's actually gonna suit Chat Mangkun, because he's gonna be the taller fighter. He's gonna be able to box with him. He's able to use some of the knees, use some of the clinches. He's going to use a lot of the different weapons that they can actually stop Lam Nang Kong. So I'm going to go Chat Mangkun for the win, um, ever so slightly. Just because Lam Nang Kong doesn't offer a lot of different types of weapons that can actually put you in danger, apart from his boxing. His boxing is strong. He's got powerful punches. He's got good hooks on him. But the reason why I always say that people can beat him is because they can get around it, because he's only going to offer you that high pressure and then boxing. And you can be privy to this. If you can step off to the left or to the right and catch him with a nice counter, and throw a high kick and catch him into a clinch and then keep kneeing him, and he can't box with you at all. There's a lot of ways to silence the style of Lam Nang Kong. A lot of ways, and that's why I think that Chat Mang Kong is going to get him, because he can do that. He can do exactly that. So it's going to be a good fight though. But I got Chat Mang Kong for the win there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, and I'm going to keep moving to the next one. Okay, this is going to be a fun fight. We've got Ti taking on Singdam in the strawweight Muay Thai division. Ti, 27 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 2 losses, no contest, 2 wins by KO, 2-fight losing streak. He lost to Coco by unanimous decision in his last fight, which it's Coco, right? Singdam is 23 years old, and his record in one championship is 1 win, 0 losses, no contest. He beat Andriy Mazentsev by unanimous decision. That's a big win, because Andrei Mazentsev, dude, this guy, the fight style that he has is a difficult one to get around. However, Mazentsev is kind of most times, made out of glass. He's got all this fancy techniques. He's faster than all the Thai fighters. He's got volume on them every single time, but he can't put them away and then come around to Thai fighter will catch a body shot, or hit him with a body shot, and then Andre will go down, and that's pretty much it there. Because after that, he's gonna go down the whole time. You know what I mean? But okay, this is not about him. This is about Singdam and Ti, and I think Singdam. I think he can get the job done here. I always rated Ti. I always have. I thought he's a very vibrant guy. He's fun. He's strong for the strawweight division as well. But he does have a habit of taking long to pull the trigger. He does have a habit of looking for the one punch KO, rather than sometimes you're gonna be forced to navigate the rounds. You're gonna have to up the volume to win some points. You're gonna have to, you know what I mean? And that's where he gets caught out. That's where fighters can beat him. It's exactly how Songchainoi and Coco beat him in his last 2 fights. They were able to outvolume him. They're able to be active in the moments where he's not active. And also Ti doesn't have an active defense. His defense is just defense. You know what I mean? He doesn't have an active defense, meaning that when the fighter comes and puts pressure on him and lose some combinations, he can also strike while being in that defense. So he can get out the range and then throw something. He just take, and then he will maybe throw back when the fighter's afterwards. And why I say Singdam will have an advantage here is because he is a high volume striker. He is a high pressured kind of striker. And he's active. And that's the thing that I feel like will be the key victories for him here, or the keys to victories for him, for Singdam. And a win over Ti boosts you. It does, because Ti is of, I won't say the top tier, I think I would say he's middle tier of the strawweight division. You know what I mean? So that what that means is that if you beat someone like Ti, you would literally get much closer to a title contention, a contract opportunity. Because Ti is also right there. He's right there. He's teetering on it as well. So interesting fight. We're gonna have power punching from Ti versus the volume, speed, and precision of Singdam. And I think I'm gonna go with the younger fighter here, even though I never really go against Ti. But I just don't like that he takes so long to start. That's the thing that bothers me. He has a habit of just taking long to pull that trigger, a little bit like Cheeto Vader, and that bothers me, man. When you're so powerful, why are you taking so long? Just go, just go at him. You know what I mean? If Ti is aggressive here, put Singdam on the back foot from the first minute, then he's at advantage already. You know what I mean? I do think he's the stronger fighter. It's just it takes long. It just takes a very long time to get that power across, and then fighters are able to bag the rounds. And then when Ti wants to start going hard, he's already down 2 rounds. You know what I mean? 2.5 rounds. So yeah, let's see what happens here. But I'm gonna go with Singdam. If you got a different opinion, you know where the comment section is. Please let me know in the comments about what you guys think about this fight. The main card is looking absolutely stacked so far. So let's go. Okay, up next we have a rematch between Tup Tim Tong and Kun Suk. Tup Tim Tong, 24 years old. His record in one championship is 3 wins, 2 losses, no contest. He's got 2 fight losing streak, 2 wins by KO, 2 fight losing streak. He lost to Ban Lulok by third round KO in his last fight. Go like that sometimes. But that just shows you the competition of this division, the Bantamweight Muay Thai. It's off the charts at the moment. Kun Suk, 21 years old. He's record in one championship. Funny enough, I was quite surprised because I've watched him fight a few times, right? But I didn't think he had fought this many times in one championship. So his record in one championship is 6 wins, 5 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 5 wins by KO, 2 fight losing streak, only one out of his last 5. And then he lost to Chat Pitchit by unanimous decision in his last fight. So he needs a win, right? He's got age on his side because he's still very young, so he can still take his time to climb the rankings. But I mean, with that amount of fights in the organization already, he's definitely got the experience. The last 2 losses, like I said, Chit Chit, and then obviously Pet. Pet is just on a tear at the moment, right? He's on a good streak, knocking people out left, right, and center. Um, Kunsuk beat Kong Burapa, third round KO. That was a very good win for him. And then his last win before that came up against Noah Pet, which was January 2024. So yeah, he needs a win. And another thing about Kunsuek, very similar style to Lam Nang Kong, boxing heavy, short, stocky, pretty boxing heavy kind of guy. Throws his kicks out there, but again, that's not that he's trying to knock people out. He's got sharp boxing. I like it. I like that he's also a go-getter. He's always down for the fight. But Tim Tung Tong is bigger. I think he's stronger. I think he's got the better weapons. He's got more experience. I think he knows how to navigate this fight against Kunsuk because Kunsuk, excuse me, because he knows what Kunsuk's gonna come. It's gonna be a lot of boxing, forward pressure, jabs, couple of 1-2s, uppercuts, swinging the hooks, taking backstep counters. That's his buzz. But I think Tup Ting Tong is gonna utilize the range where he's gonna keep Kunsuk at the edge of his jabs and also at the edge of his kicks mainly. Because he's got the longer range and he can do that without having to give up a lot of space where he can get counted. So the battle is for Kunsuk really. Yeah, Kunsuk. He's gonna have to really do most of the work in this fight. So he's gonna have to close the distance a lot. He's gonna have to keep the fight very much within range. He can't back up in this fight. He's gonna have to cut angles as well. He's gonna have to just ramp up his volume a little bit more and use some kicks of his own. Use some kicks of his own. Be defensively sound. But it's just hard to say. It's just hard for me to see him winning the fight because Tup Tim Tong did put it on him in that first fight. But it was a one-sided affair. So hard to see what Kunsuk's gonna do different. So I'm gonna go to Tim Tong for the win. But I'm a big fan of Kunsuk. I think he's a good young fighter to watch for the brand and for this division as well. And I think with patience with him, I think he's gonna definitely go on a good win streak here. But the competition is high level. So I think he's gonna have to be patient with that because the competition of this division is extremely high level. But I'm gonna go with Tuk Ting Tong for the win, which I think because he won the first one in a very dominant fashion. I think he's gonna do it again. But okay, let me know your thoughts in the comments about that one while I keep it moving. That's gonna be the opening fight of the main card, right? So keep tuned for that. And now I'm gonna go into the featured bout of the night, which will be the main fight. Now this one is gonna be tricky, and this one's gonna be also hard to predict. Sondrak, 28 years old, record in one championship is 7 wins, 6 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 1 win by KO. He lost to Samingdam by unanimous decision in his last fight. And then Yamin Lamal, I'm joking. Yamin fighting out of the PK Senchai gym. Oh yeah, this is also Bantamweight Muay Thai. You can see it on screen. Yamin is 29 years old. His record in one championship is 2 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He got 1 win by KO, 1 win by TKO. He lost to Ibrahim Abdullah Medjidov by second round KO in his last fight. But also high level opponents that he's fought before. Joaquim Aurigi, and he fought Zhang Jinhu. Knocked them both out, by the way. So this is going to be a difficult fight for both of them because Skandarak is notorious for decisioning fighters. You know, he's notorious for being very durable, but also he fights a very active fight, whether he's going backwards or going forward. He loves the body kick. He loves throwing when he's going backwards as well. And that's how he's winning his fights, because even when people are pressuring him going backwards, he's outlanding you. He's outlanding you. He might not be knocking you out or hurt or knocking you down, but he's outlanding you. And I think that's how he's been able to score a lot of these decision wins. I don't think he's got any wins by KO. 1 win by KO. But that was like when? When was that? 2024 March. Masaya Katsuno. 4-fight losing streak before that. You know what I mean? So yeah, he's a heavy decision kind of guy. That's just how he fights. And I think he's gonna have to be careful with Yamin, because Yamin is a powerful dude. He's also quite tall for the bantamweight division. Got dynamite in his hands. He's aggressive, and I think that's gonna be the style to beat someone like Sondrak. Samingdam that beat Sondrak in the last fight was because of that. Samingdam it was a very tight fight, right? I mean, remember the fans were going crazy. They were saying it was a bit of a robbery. I thought Samingdam lost that fight, to be honest with you. I picked Samingdam to lose that fight because I thought Sandrock was going to be able to navigate him for 3 rounds like he does everybody, right? He doesn't get himself in danger. He chooses to fight off the back foot because then he can blast the kicks the whole time. Kick. Then you come in, crash, punch, clinch. Referee breaks him up. Kick, and that's how he just scores he wins all his fights exactly like that. So I think Amin's gonna have to make the fight aggressive the way Samingdam did, which was make it ugly. Just make it fucking ugly. Eliminate the space. Don't change kicks with him. Eliminate the space. Get into his face and you box him. Hit him as hard as you fucking can, and he will go down. You'll feel it. He hates that kind of fight because he's not the sharpest boxer. I've seen Sunrak's boxing. It's not the sharpest. It's not the cleanest. It's more about like when you get into the boxing range with him, then he just like lets his fists fly because he mainly wants to get back into a range where he can throw the kicks. So he's not really trying to knock you out with the punching. It's more about to make that space uncomfortable for you, so you can't really land anything big on him. So I think Yamin's gonna have to really get creative and be when he gets in tight. Maybe do like a Lomachenko, where when he gets in tight, jab cut off to the angle, jab cut back this way. Then basically he doesn't know which way to get you, and then you can crack him with something big, but stay almost chest to chest. You have to be very close on Sandrak the whole time. You must not allow him to kick at all, because the moment you give him that comfortability or that rhythm where he can do that, it's going to be a hard fight for you to claw it back. Anyone really, a hard fight to claw back once Sandrak gets into that rhythm. So yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult one for both guys, because I think both guys have got good weapons to win the fight. I mean, Yamin is a KO specialist. But we haven't seen him fight in a while. That's the thing. You know what I mean? He hasn't been that active. His last fight was 9th of August where he got knocked out. So you know what I mean? He's out for an entire year. An entire year he's been out. So yeah, is there gonna be some jitters? Is there gonna be some ring rust? Let's see what happens. And Sandrak is a little bit of even though he lost his last fight, he's been extremely active, so he's always fresh. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna go with Yamin Lamal for the win here. Because I actually want to see Sondrak lose just once, other than the way that he lost against Samingdam, which I thought he actually won. By the way, I want to see him like actually significantly lose a fight, just because I'm not a fan of his style, man. His style puts on kind of boring fights. That's the thing. He plays the fight game very safe, and although that's smart, it's very smart, but it does really make boring watches. But anyway, give me your thoughts in the comments about this one. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Some of you guys are probably gonna go with Sandrak anyway, but yeah, tell me why. Keep it moving. Up next, we got two debutants fighting in the lightweight Muay Thai. This is what I want to see. I want to see the big boys go. Titus Proctor fighting out of New Zealand. He's 21 years old. This is obviously his one championship debut. He is 14-time New Zealand Muay Thai world champion, Muay Thai champion. He's undefeated with 20 wins, 0 losses, and he's got 14 wins by KO. That is mad. That's like 70%. Yeah, like 70, over 70% of his wins are knockouts. So that's really, really phenomenal to see. He's got powerful boxing. I've watched some video on him. He's got very good boxing. That's primarily his weapons. Liu Quan confuses me a little bit. He's 20 years old. This is also his one championship debut fight out to China. When I typed his name in, they're giving me results of a different Liu Quan, who was also in one. And he's 24 years old and he had one loss in the brand. So I don't know if this is the same guy or not, but it's a bit confusing to get tape on him as well. So not too sure what's going to go on here, but I feel like Titus is probably going to get the job done anyway and extend his win streak. When there's a division that is begging for more lightweight contenders, so hopefully Titus goes in there and puts on a worldy of a kind of performance, likes to stage up and let's go, and becomes like one of those guys where it's like, I'm next. I want the big guy next. A big guy, I mean Reagan Ursel. The rest of the fight card is a little bit tricky for me because there's like it's all debut fighters. So I'm not really gonna give much about it, but I mean looking at the names, Sian Sak take from Supergirl Jarunsuk. I'm assuming that she's got a gym now, and he's fighting out of that gym. He's taking on Linus Bylander from Sweden. Bantamweight Muay Thai. Again, another Bantamweight Muay Thai fight. Not too sure. But you guys know where the comment section is. Let me know more and more about these fighters. Give me your picks. Pit Siam taking on Ryuki Matsuda from Japan. This is throwweight kickboxing. So I'm sure this is going to be super exciting. And like always, even though I don't really give picks on debut fighters, the Japanese fighters that are fighting in the kickboxing on the undercard have just been successful all the time. They win every single week. So I'm going to go with the Japanese fighter again. Alfie Lynch from the United Kingdom. Strawweight kickboxing taking on Shoma Okumura from Japan. This is also another, again, kickboxing. Japanese basically rule the sport. So I'm going to go with Shoma again. And then the opening bout of the night is Chayan Uzak from Mongolia taking on Imran Satif from Qatar. Yeah, I'm going to go with the Mongolian here. They are both different. They can grapple, they can strike, they can submit you. They're just high-level fighters. And they're just well-rounded dudes. So I'm going to go with the well-rounded dude. But of course, you know what the comment section is. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, please, ladies and gentlemen. That's all my time for today. Please drop a like, share, and comment on the video. Get involved in the banter. We are going to be going live for this fight card on Friday, which will be tomorrow, 2:30 South African time. So I hope to see all of you there. Get involved in the banter. Share the content with your friends. Let's grow this community. One Championship is a brand that was built to compete with all the big brands, particularly with UFC. And it's up to us as fans to help that grow, and I think if we can keep doing these kind of conversations in our lives, it really does help the brand. It helps us as well. We can bring more fighters onto the channel for you guys to come and get involved and join the live conversation with him, because we've been getting some interviews of late. But yeah, just support, and we'll keep going and make this a space for everyone that supports One Championship to come on here and back their chat, I guess. But okay, on that note, from myself and Fighting With Friendz team, have a very, very good day, evening, morning, wherever you're tuning in from, and we will catch you in the next one. Cheers.